Picked up this old girl from a neighbor. He kind of inherited the tractor. Massey 16. I believe they made them from 75 to 76, something like that. Only 2 year span, I know that. Not sure exactly what year this one is. But the guy who had it before my neighbor, from my understanding, loved the machine and abandoned it at my neighbor's house so many years ago, and it hadn't ran in, I'm venturing to say, around 10 years. And I did see the machine run back then. Fortunately, the poor thing is a little beat up. It's got the wrong silver gray down there. It's supposed to be more of a dark gray color than the silver. And it looks like they kind of did some of the red up too. But this machine, I do plan on tearing it down, maybe not completely, but doing a rough tear down restoration on it just to make it look good again, make it operate good again. I don't really have any intentions for it. I don't need a rototiller, and that's all that this came with. I'm going to use the rototiller a little bit, but I think I'm going to just have fun with it at the tractor pulls, the garden tractor pulls. And I know it ain't going to do much, especially being hydrostat, but I think it'll be fun. I haven't really touched it at all yet. Today's going to be the first day. I did clean out the fuel tank. Not that there was anything in there, but there was some dirt. But I did clean all that out as best as I could. It certainly needs things like these battery cables are, I can't see them being the original ones. They're so tiny. And this one certainly ain't good. I mean, I don't know who the hell would even do that. I love this machine, but I don't think he should have been touching a wrench. So I'm sure I'm going to put battery cables on this thing before it'll run, but I'm going to try like hell to make it run without touching them yet. I haven't cranked it or anything. What's going on? Oh, this is the ground. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I haven't cranked it or anything yet, but I'm gonna pull that carburetor off of there, clean that up. Whether it needs it or not, I just want to clean it because, like I said, I know it's been at least, well, not at least, but around 10 years ago that this thing was parked. So I'm gonna assume that the fuel is gummed up the carburetor a little bit. Maybe there's something growing in there, who knows. But the machine certainly needs work. The tires, I had them aired up to get it over here, and I think most of them are back flat again. Maybe one's holding there still. There's some big things coming for this old girl. These Massey 16s are hard to come by. A friend taught me about them. I had a Massey 14 probably about 10 years ago. Got rid of that to a friend because I didn't need it, and that one had rototiller on there with same exact rototiller, Massey Ferguson 550, I believe. Yep, 550. And these rototillers are cool. As you see, this one has an extension on it on that side, but there's no extension for this side. I don't know why you have only one extension on it. The one I had on my 14 had full extensions on it. And I know the fella's still using it today. These things are just so cool. They're quick machines. High, low. They're just awesome. Shaft drive, ain't no belt driven machine. 16 horse, good old Kohler. But I'm gonna get that carburetor ripped off and see what I could do with it. And Cook's Rig's back here with the 16, and I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I mean, it's wet in here. It smells like god-awful old fuel. It's wet in there, smells like old fuel. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Oh, it's starting to get wet down here. Maybe from me fussing with it. Hope this thing will clear up. But got it off, only took a minute. I'm gonna pull this apart, blow everything out. Hopefully I find something cool in there. I'll get it on video. Oh yeah, watch this. Oh yeah, that's a good shit. So, all right, the fuel is still liquid and it ain't turned to tar. I mean, like, it don't look very good in there. Looks all gummed up in there. But, yeah. I'm gonna pull this apart. Like I said, clean everything out, clean all the jets, spray everything out with brake clean. And once I do that, I'm just gonna throw it back on there and hope that I can jump start this thing. We'll see. I'm not no normal YouTube guy here. I just do this stuff for a little bit of fun on the side and usually to show you how to do something that I struggled figuring out. But I pulled this out for the bowl and it did not like coming out. You can see it's all tar looking. Not as bad as I really anticipated. Okay, there's a film on there. It's almost sticky, and you can see it's kind of green, like shit was starting to grow in there. Oh boy. Yeah. Glad I did not try to get this thing running because it was not happening. Alright. Let me get this out here. Okay, that moves. Make sure to lose this pin. That way you can't put it back together. Wow, down in there looks awful. Used to the needle kind of coming out with the float. I haven't really tinkered with a Kohler in a while. Some thread from there? Or? It just moves that way. Don't tell me this thing's just supposed to pull right out. It is, isn't it? Or I just broke it. Oof. Yep. Covered in green stuff, all sticky. Yeah, that. Boy, oh boy. Okay. Lately I've been tinkering with my, well, not my father's John Deere garden tractor 420. And I mean, I've never tinkered with one of them before. I never even knew what they were till another friend told me about them. I wanted to get the old man a better tractor than what he had. Oh, that's not good. doing something wrong here. And the 420, I think I might do some videos on that. But the 420 already runs. There was nothing to that. It's just something happened with the carburetor. And I pulled that carburetor apart on the 420 and found, like, it almost honestly looked like that caviar stuff, that fish eggs. It almost looked like that stuff was sitting in the bowl on the 420. And I mean, if you know anything about them 420s, they got that boxer engine on them. Posed twin 20 horse Onan, and it was just you know, you can't take them carburetors apart without pulling the intake. So the bowl, if you will, is mounted, it's bolted. There's bolts holding the carburetor on, like the bowl is holding it onto the intake. So you take the top half of the carb apart pretty much, and then what was laying down in the bowl, there's a little drain hole on the side of the carburetor on the Monans. So you pull that out and you're able to flush everything out from there, drop it out on the side. I pulled all the jets out of that, cleaned that. The machine ran better, but it's not, it doesn't want to idle. It'll run at full throttle. I bought a reseal kit for that. Why does this look like a Schrader valve in here? Maybe I've never had one of these cooler carbs apart yet. This does not look familiar. Interesting. I want this to come out of here. I know it does. Has to. Okay, that looks a little better. What is that? Is that a Schrader valve? So... this is a Schrader valve. It doesn't seem to be Schradering. I need to get that out of there. Doesn't feel like it's interfering with it. Not want to come apart. That seems like the biggest screwdriver I have that'll fit down in there. Big guy won't fit there, right? Nope. What is going on here? See green stuff oozing up out of it, I suppose. I don't know if that's coming up around the threads or something to do with that doodad, if you will, that's in the center. Please come up for it. I either just finished it off or broke it free. I believe I finished it off. Yep. Yeah, she's chipping away in there. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. that how that works? Sure is. So this is the idle screw. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with carburetors. Tear them apart, clean them, put them back together. What? How would it? Hope I didn't disturb it by pushing on it the way I was. Okay, I'm starting to think I have certainly never had one of these carburetors apart at this point. I really am. This does not look familiar to me at all. Okay, I can see daylight through here now with the, is this the main? Is this, I don't know. I guess it's the main. With this out of it now, I can actually see daylight through there. So, I don't know. I guess I'm not pulling that apart. Roll it out. Goodness. I'll take this over here and look through the daylight at it. This is never going to run this way. My grandfather taught me, you clean these carburetors, you generally grab a bread twist tie, poke it through here. To avoid me going inside a house reeking like fuel, just usually take a wire brush, poke through with that. Try to do something here. Does that not go through the other side like they normally do? Isn't that odd? Goodness grief. I don't know if that's supposed to be a hole through there or what. To me, it looks like there's a hole there. It's plugged up. I did open up a hole to the other side of this one though, that I didn't see earlier. lower hole here. These brushes are falling apart yet. Doesn't want to give me one. Same things? Evidently it was, I guess. I thought I had 2 holes coming through here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Give me a break. 23, 24 years old. All I know how to do is play with my phone. That's what they say. I swear this looks like a blocked hole here. After I cleaned it up, I still see some green on that specific spot. But maybe I'm wrong. This one goes straight through, no problem. I don't see no hole down here. Why is that? Is that really supposed to be just there by itself? I guess. Come on, shaky hands. Oh, she good now. Stuff burns. All right, so what I just did is I blew brake clean into that hole. And I guess what happens is the fuel just travels down here. This feeds fuel wherever it needs to feed it. There's 2 little pinholes right here. Go straight through. There's a couple holes here. And they all look cleaned out now. I blew the brake clean through it. So I'm gonna call that good there. I'm gonna try and take this out one more time now that that piece is out of there. If this doesn't come out, it's not coming out. Just wanna hope for the best. Yeah, there's no doubt. It's just stripping. Shouldn't say there's no doubt. It's all doubt. It ain't coming out. Just gonna put this back in about where it was. Looks like it's about halfway threaded down in there. Blow it out one more time. I'm already convinced at this point that this whole girl's gonna run. Just don't know how well it's gonna run. Especially with those turbine gaskets here. Getting brake clean all over them. Come on. Is that spring getting sucked in? spring, I believe, is getting sucked into the threads there. Kind of interesting. Feels better now. Maybe. Actually, looks like it's in further than it was. Back it up like hair. I might have to fiddle with that once I put this all back together. I'm not sure. Like I said, I ain't too familiar with carburetors in the sense of what does what. I just know to get all the crap out of them. Maybe that's air mixture. I don't know. When I blew through the needle seat, it seemed to move out pretty good. Clean up the walls here of the needle seat. I suppose I could pull it out, clean it in my hands, but I don't think it's necessary. This is a very strange gasket. I'm wondering if this is the factory gaskets for these. That sort of looks homemade. As long as the seals, I don't care what it looks like. So that's a spot for that needle to sit all the way down into if you were to thread it all the way in. things are sticking to this. Let that marinate. I should have stuck this stuff into a tub of carb clean, if you will. Let it soak while I was tearing everything else apart. But I ain't got time for all that. Just gonna clean up as best as I could. And everything is sticking to it still. That's disgusting. It's like I wiped down a truck that's been sitting in the woods years. All right. It's disgusting. I'll wipe out. We got all this gunk sitting in here. Goodness, goodness, goodness. There we go. I would not want all this breaking off into my bowl, floating around in there, getting sucked up, causing more problems. Why is there pitting in the carburetor in the bowl? Are these pitting spots supposed to be here, I wonder? You guys can, it sounds kind of stupid because every other YouTuber says it, but you guys can let me know down in the comments. What is this pitting about? Is it supposed to be there? Did somebody like stamp this thing for some reason? And right here, there's pitting. Pitting here, pitting here. Okay, yeah, that pitting is not supposed to be there. I hope this carburetor's not going to leak. Yeah, I'm already pretty much anticipating at this point buying a new carb or finding a used one in better condition. I'm not too hopeful here. Like I said, I think it'll run, but I don't think it's probably going to run too well. But it is a Kohler, so who knows? She may light off and run away. After that, all these spots are all pitting spots. These dark spots. I don't know why that is. I've never really seen that before. Hands probably would not shake as much as they do if I wore gloves or did this stuff the right way. Brake clean all over my hands. Uh-oh, there it goes. Knew that was gonna happen. It is a disgusting 80 some odd degrees out today here in South Jersey. And I don't do well with it. Roll with that. I guess that doesn't matter how it sits in there. This is very odd setup carburetor to me. Just not used to seeing it. Oh, I see. The flat sits in there. Right? It doesn't look right. No, it does not. Trying to make sure I know how this needle stays in the seat. Not sure if you can tell with the lighting. The flat here, where you would put the flat head to turn this centerpiece out, it's all pretty much stripped out now. I'm not sure if it's just seized in there from the gunk, or if it's not supposed to come out, which I don't know why I would have a flat if it's not supposed to come out, but just gonna roll with it. Yeah, I really don't like how that looks in there. Everything seems to move okay. This honestly feels a little Feels a little odd to me, but maybe that's normal. Almost like it might be a little sticky. It'll be all right. Yeah, that's just the choke side anyhow. That's probably why it feels that way. All right, let's get this back on there. And I got some 1/4 inch fuel line because that's a mess on that tractor too. Let's see what happens. All right, it's probably been a half an hour went by since I threw the carburetor back on here. Everything looks hunky-dory with that. So next came obviously battery cable situation. And I mean, I knew I was building cables like I said, but I didn't think this was going to happen. All I tried to do was, I mean, you could tell I knew that this was all seized up, but I was just trying to loosen it up and wiggle it off of there so I could make the new one, and peeled right off like that. This one, negative, which I originally thought was positive just because it was red, of course. Didn't move at all, but thankfully this was loose enough I could just wiggle it off, get it out. It's a new cable I built. Now the ground is obviously supposed to go here to there. I don't know what happened, why they, I don't know if maybe they were having ground issues with the body or something. Because I mean, I know stuff's not right with this machine as far as what this guy has wrenched on. So they ran the ground all the way down to the motor. But I built this one huge, you know, alt gauge. I don't know what this stuff is. I found it in some warehouse and the guy wanted a cheap price for it, so I bought it. I just built this, so I'm just gonna hook it up the same way down there, and I'm just gonna run this to whatever I can make work. And we'll throw a battery in it, of course. But just a quick little update. I'm gonna go make this one real quick out of the same shit. I have all the amperage going to it. Alright, so both new battery cables are built. Hot ground. I was in here and I noticed this wire was falling apart, and it was one of the that. So it was having a hard time staying on and everything and whatnot. So I just went ahead real quick and put a new end on it. And as I was staring at the starter solenoid, it begged the question of, do I even have a key for this tractor? Because I never even once looked at it for a key. Never really cared. And yeah, key's gone. Already has some sort of aftermarket ignition on it anyhow. So, I mean, I tried tracing the wires. There's about, let's see, what, 4 or 5 wires coming off the ignition. And they're just running, as you can see, they're all jammed and ran under there. I mean, not all the ones to the ignition, but 2 of them coming off the ignition run under there. Jump over the machine, which led me to walk over to the other machine and have a look at the starter wiring. And I don't even know what to say about this. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is probably build this wire real quick, but I'm gonna order a new ignition for it and try and hopefully find one that's more made for this machine than just some generic one. I'm gonna open up this stuff and see what in the hell is going on with the wiring here. I mean, I see it all. That's probably that mess back there where it all gets crunched under, you know, under the shields and whatnot. But I'm gonna open all this up and just try and figure out what in the hell's going on here. If it's all bare wiring, if this feels like wires that are just tied together and taped up. Like I said, this guy should not have been had access to a toolbox. Well, I mean, really, it looks like he didn't have access to a toolbox. He probably would have done a better job if so. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of some wiring while I'm here and go online real quick, order ignition for it. I'm not going to, unfortunately, start it up today. I was really hoping to do so, but I'm just going to do the right thing here and have a gander at more of this wiring.